Comparison is the thief of joy. The reason I stopped hating on e-girls and e-boys and all of the stuff, but e-girls in particular, and just people who make money from simply being sexual online or whatever, is because it has nothing to do with me, right? That's the main thing, is that these people who are making money online or getting fame online, getting attention online from doing sexual things, all that stuff, has nothing to do with me or you, right? It only has something to do with you when you begin consuming the content. But more than that, it's not really their doing. Yeah, and I know that sounds kind of weird because they're the ones who go online and upload these videos, but it isn't exactly their doing that they're so famous and that they have so much such a huge audience that wants to listen to them. You see, there was this video of that girl from TikTok, that like Filipino girl-ish, and she like did that crossing her eyes thing and bobbing her head, and gained like millions, tens of millions of followers and views and like TikTok views or whatever from that. And the thing is, there's nothing you can say about to her, because she has no control. Once she put the video up, she had no control really of how many people are going to see it and how many people are going to follow her. She's not going to tell people what they have to be into. They're the ones who found that video and started sharing it with each other and watching it in loops. She does not have control over the market. She's just a player in the market. Okay, that's it. And there was also this other guy who got like 100,000 subs in one day. This other e-boy who got 100,000 subs in like one month from just showing his face. Basically uploaded a TikTok or something onto YouTube. So less than a minute, 100,000 views in 1 month. Right, that was the only video that he had posted up. So again, it's the same argument. How is that? It's not really his fault. It's not really his doing. It's the people who are watching him that are making them famous. And I understand that there are people who are making this point that we need to stop doing this. We need to stop doing that. But what I don't understand is when YouTubers who have big followings and all of this stuff, and people who have large audiences and lots of money and that stuff, complain about these people making money. Because to me, it makes me wonder, like, okay, a lot of the times people will say that these people have no personality. Like if you look at that girl that was bobbing her head, it's often said that she has no personality. And I can see what they're saying. Like, I watched the video of hers and Mr. Beast, and where she was on Mr. Beast and that hide and seek thing, and she didn't really say anything. She just kind of walks and says, she's kind of a one-liner kind of person, one-word, one-liner sort of person, which is not very marketable. It has to be done very well in order to market that, but she's obviously, and I think the fact that the people say she has no personality is starting to sort of play into her kind of appeal, right? But anyway, these people say that they have no personality. Okay, these e-girls have no personality, no talent, no skills, and their only marketable skill is looking pretty. And so then I ask myself, well, if what you wish for happens, that people take away their by freedom of choice, right? They take away these people's income. They stop watching them. They stop donating them. Everybody stops simping. What kind of life are you wishing upon these people? What kind of life do you think they're going to have if you take all of that away, according to what you believe about them? That they're not smart, they're dumb, not interesting, they have no personality, no marketable skills, no talent. it sounds to me like people are wishing for these people to be in extremely harsh situations where they cannot find a job or keep a job or make any money. And this is really fueled just by jealousy, really, by comparison. And it's because people are comparing what they're doing, saying, I put all this work and blah, 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 blah. And then they just go on there and show their faces and you know, they get big and all that stuff. And first, it has nothing to do with you. Nobody is taking money from you. I wouldn't even say that they're taking an audience from you. Nobody's taking anything from you. So the complacency doesn't make any sense. And some of these YouTubers who say this, they're making so much money, you know, from what they're doing. And honestly, like, if I was in their shoes, I'd just shut up and make my videos and my money. I get the arguments of, like, obviously, like, these people need to, you know, there's some societal issues and that stuff, you know, like with the whole sexuality thing and the girls being young and, you know, I you know, attention span, these kind of things. Those are very good points. You know, those are ones that we can actually, that I would hope that people would dive much deeper into finding a solution or whatever. But I don't think that this has anything to do with the e-girls themselves, right? This doesn't have much to do with the e-girls and the e-boys themselves. The e-girls and the e-boys, they're just making they're just using the platform. This has more to do with the platform itself, okay? So to hate on the people it doesn't make any sense to me. But, you know, when people start talking about other issues, right, when they try to justify why they hate e-girls or why they don't like e-girls, why they're trying to promote this mass exodus of watching e-girls or whatever, it's, you know, they talk, especially with TikTok, they talk about China and how TikTok is owned by China and, you know, they're spying on people and blah, 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 blah. Now, this is all just an excuse to attack, you know, the TikTok environment itself. I don't really think these people really care about this. And you could just see that by the fact that so many people use TikTok. It's not really an issue to a lot of people. And I honestly don't think it's an issue, period, because I believe that every government is spying on you. I've almost a zero faith in the idea that the United States government, all these places, United States, Russia, Britain, Australia, South Africa, Nigeria, the Philippines, Vietnam, I have no faith at all in the idea that these countries are not spying on people. Okay, that to me is a silly idea. Okay, we saw this with the Snowden files, you know, all of this stuff and WikiLeaks. We know these people are spying on us, and so I think it's not really fair to point out China just because China makes it more obvious that they're spying. In fact, I think it's better that they make it more obvious that they're spying, because then it gives people at least an opportunity to use, you know, VPNs and all of this stuff, to be aware, like, oh, okay, so I can just use a VPN with certain things that they may want to actually keep private, which is exactly where the responsibility lies, honestly, in this whole spying thing. It lies with you deciding to, am I going to use a VPN? Am I going to use all these services and this you know, this technology that masks me? Okay, that's where the responsibility lies, not with the Chinese government to stop spying on them, when literally every government is doing that. And you may think this is two wrongs don't make a right argument, but what my argument that I'm making is that that's not wrong for them to spy on us. It's actually not wrong. They're doing what governments are supposed to be doing, surveillance, okay? And this is why I think the United States is worse, because the United States doesn't at all make it clear that they're spying on their people. They just sort of they just sort of pretend as if they're not spying on us. It's almost like it's like an open secret. Everybody knows it's happening, but to comfort themselves, they sort of pretend that the spying is only happening in China, right? And moving back to the actual topic, I don't really have a problem with China. You can clearly see I don't really have a problem with China. Why would I? What has China ever done to me? Nothing. So why would I actually have a problem with China? China can own TikTok. And in fact, I think we need to give China credit, all right, for creating TikTok and facilitating TikTok, for the Chinese who created TikTok and facilitating TikTok. They deserve a lot of credit for that. And, you know, they created this thing that really took over the internet. And this is good. You know, anybody else would be praised for this, but because it's China, they don't want to praise it. So, you know, the Chinese argument that TikTok is a problem because it's owned by China, I don't accept that argument. That is really irrelevant. I accept the societal issues, you know, that TikTok brings up, the issues of function, all of this stuff, right? But the issue that because it's owned by China, no, I don't accept that at all. This is politically motivated, and I have no interest in that. Right? It has nothing to do with what's right, what's wrong. It's simply politically motivated. It's you can't create an app that's good. You're not allowed to. We are the ones who do that. How dare you do something good? How dare you create a valuable tool? So, not interested in that argument at all. But just to wrap it up, I want to get back to the comparison argument, which is argument that I was making, which is that, you know, your life is probably going to get better if you stop comparing. Like, when I look back at when I was coming of age, I was actually ahead of my peers in many sort of aspects, you know, the aspects that I was extremely like into and kind of grew up being into. I had a very kind of addictive personality and very focused, and I grew, and that made me ahead of my peers in many ways. But when the comparisons came, when I began, you know, the wanting that social life that they had, and a lot of it was based on comparison. It was more like because I was around these people all the time and I was going with them to these places, I began to really compare. And I don't blame me comparing in that sense. Like, I should have gone with these people and not compared. I think because that's just something that was triggered naturally as a human. I think the smarter thing would have been to probably refrain from hanging around those people in that way for that amount of time, right? I should have reduced the amount of time that I hung around with them in order to reduce the urge to compare. That would have been a better solution, and you know, one that's within my power, rather than thinking you can turn off these sort of instinctive situations, change the environment, right? But and you know, that's exactly why I think that the solution is obviously for TikTok is, you know, you as an individual to decide how much of this stuff is actually benefiting me, how much is wasting my time, how much is damaging me, and, you know, what are the pros and cons, all of this stuff, and then decide if you want to pull out or not, or if you want to reduce the use and put some restrictions on all that stuff. And this is kind of a hard thing to do, but I think it's a more sensible and responsible solution, rather than being hysterical about young girls and boys who get famous because they're pretty, and that a government somewhere is that's not yours, you know, controls a giant app, right? That's you know, I don't have time for that. What you need to do is you need to control your own actions, or at least that's how I will approach it. And anyone who wants to approach it that way, I give them credit, because that's a very sensible and not fantastical way of approaching the situation. So yeah, well, gotta get back to training out here in Kami's Lookout. And I'm still only doing mental training right now, day by day. But eventually we're going to get to some of that physical stuff. And work my way to train with Krillin, Chaozu, Yamcha, all of them. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts from Kami's Lookout, feel free to stick around.